In the circus world where reality brushes against the bizarre, some circus freaks actually existed. These people broke every norm, mesmerizing crowds with their unique appearances and unbelievable abilities. Join us on a journey through history's most amazing sideshow performers, where each had a story as extraordinary as the spectacle they brought to the stage. Let's begin with number 15, the Siamese twins. In the fascinating world of circus freaks that actually existed, our first story focuses on the remarkable Chang and Eng Bunker. Born in a small fishing village in Siam, now Thailand, in 1811, the twins were joined by a narrow 15-centimeter band of flesh and cartilage at the chest, making separation impossible because their livers were fused. At 17, British merchant Robert Hunter discovered them and introduced them to audiences across America and Europe. Known as the Siamese Double Boys, their mirrored movements and shared body captivated crowds. Beyond their physical connection, they were intelligent businessmen who controlled their act and profits. By 1839, they had become American citizens, retired from performing, and settled in North Carolina as the Bunker family. Each married and built separate homes, alternating every 3 days. They fathered 21 children. During the Civil War, money troubles forced them back into performing. In 1874, Chang died of a stroke, and Eng, deeply shocked, passed away soon after. Number 14, J.T. Sailors. J.T. was born in 1933 in Memphis and became famously known as Rubber Face. His rare gift was gurning, the ability to distort his face in unbelievable ways. He could stretch his mouth and even pull his lower lip completely over his nose, a feat few have ever managed. Sailors worked as an ordinary sandwich man, using his face-twisting skills to attract customers on busy streets. His remarkable elasticity caught the attention of Ripley's Believe It or Not, which immortalized him as their logo for many of their auditoriums worldwide. Despite his fame, J.T. remained humble, performing casually and often making people laugh just by grimacing on cue. His flexible features made him a living legend in sideshow history. Sailors proved that sometimes the most memorable acts didn't need props or tricks, just an expression nobody else could copy. To this day, Rubber Face remains one of Ripley's most recognizable human oddities. Number 13, the Camel Girl. In 1886, a young and beautiful woman named Ella Harper made waves in New York City's circus scene, turning heads with a rare condition that bent her knees outward, causing her to walk on all fours like a camel. She was known as the Camel Girl, and Ella's act quickly became a sensation, pulling large crowds eager to see her unusual movement. Born January 5, 1870, in Hendersonville, Tennessee, Ella was the daughter of a respected farmer named William Harper. Her twin brother Everett passed away as an infant, and she had 3 other siblings, Sally, Willie, and Jessie. Ella began performing at age 12, touring places like St. Louis and New Orleans. By 1886, she joined the Nickel Plate Circus under W.H. Harris, performing alongside a real camel. Her posture mirrored the animals, which only fueled the public's curiosity. That same year, she left the circus to pursue school. Her promotional cards revealed she earned $200 a week, nearly $5,000 today, and vanished from public life entirely. Number 12, Anato Hayes. Ed Anato Hayes, known as the anatomical wonder, amazed audiences with his seemingly impossible control over his body. He could draw in his stomach so deeply that it appeared to touch his spine, leaving onlookers stunned by the sight. This act wasn't a trick or illusion, like Barnum's mermaid or four-headed cow. Hayes had muscle control, allowing him to manipulate his abdominal cavity in ways that defied logic. He performed in circuses and sideshows across the country, building a reputation as one of the strangest human contortionists of his time. The Hayes family included other performers, too. Keen Hayes, his brother, occasionally used the same stage name. Together, they carried the legacy of unusual talent and physical mastery that captivated curious crowds for years. While we know a little or maybe nothing about Anato's later life, his stage reputation as the man who could swallow his stomach earned him a permanent place among sideshow legends who blurred the line between human and impossible. Number 11. Alexander Montagu. In the 1850s, Alexander appeared on stage, fragile, silent, and impossibly thin. Weighing just 54 pounds, he became one of P.T. Barnum's famed living skeletons. His chest measured barely 4 inches across, his wrists thinner than most men's thumbs. It was not any illusions or tricks, only the truth of a body that seemed almost transparent. Audiences were captivated not by noise or tricks, but by his eerie stillness. Montagu played the violin, drawing soft, haunting notes that filled quiet tents with wonder. He performed through the 1860s, admired not just as a curiosity, but for the strange dignity he carried. While imitators followed, none captured his quiet presence. He showed that frailty could hold power, and that silence could command awe. Alexander Montagu didn't shout for attention, he drew it in. In an age obsessed with spectacle, he stood apart, proving that sometimes the faintest echo leaves the deepest impression. Number 10. The Bearded Lady. Among the most iconic figures of circus lore, Annie Jones, P.T. Barnum's famed bearded lady, left an unforgettable legacy. Born in Virginia in 1865, Annie shocked doctors by growing facial hair shortly after birth. Her parents saw potential, not shame, and by 9 months old, she was already part of Barnum's show, billed as the infant Esau. That early contract earned her mother $150 over 3 years, a sizable sum for the time. Annie's fame grew fast. She embraced her look, wore elegant dresses, played mandolin, and mastered public charm. She went from infant Esau to Esau Lady, and finally the celebrated Bearded Lady. She married young, divorced, remarried, and toured Europe with her second husband, William Donovan. Despite her fame, she challenged the term freak, demanding respect for performers like herself. Annie died from tuberculosis at 37. Her legacy outlived the sideshow, proving she was never just a gimmick. She was a force who owned every inch of her beautiful image. Number 9. Sophia Schultz. Sophia Schultz called herself a triple curiosity, a dwarf, a bearded lady, and a fat lady. In truth, only the first claim held some weight. She was extremely small, with only a faint goatee, and never approached the size of the era's famous fat performers. Yet she toured the dime museum circuit throughout the 1880s, appearing in New York, Baltimore, and Boston. Some spectators left unimpressed, expecting extravagance, while others found quiet fascination in her difference. Her appearance may have been caused by hypothyroidism, which could have also affected her mental development. Little is known about her private life, though her surname suggests German heritage. Sophia never achieved the fame of sideshow stars, but her presence still mattered. She belonged to a time when even slight deviations from the norm could offer survival and feed the public's hunger for the unusual. Sophia didn't shock the world. She endured it, earning her place among the quieter legends of the freak show era. Number 8. Sarah Biffin. Sarah was born in Somerset, England in 1784 without arms and with short, underdeveloped legs, but she refused to be defined by absence. Using her mouth and shoulder muscles, she learned to write, sew, and paint with astonishing skill. Fairgrounds across Britain featured her as a spectacle, but she quickly transformed that stage into a gallery. Her paintings were delicate, masterful, and soon sought after by nobles. Queen Victoria owned her work. Charles Dickens praised her craft. Sarah never asked for admiration out of pity. She earned it through precision and beauty. Her art wasn't inspiring because of her condition. It was exceptional because it was brilliant. She lived independently, funded herself through her talent, and built respect in a time that often denied it. Sarah Biffin's name endures not as a curiosity, but as a master artist whose work proved that ability has nothing to do with anatomy and everything to do with will. Number 7. The Fat Boy of Peckham. John Trundley, famously called the Fat Boy of Peckham, became one of early London's strangest fascinations. Born in 1898, he weighed a typical 9 pounds at birth, but began growing rapidly within months. By 7 months, he was 2 stone. By 6 years old, 14. Doctors found no illness, only a mystery. By 14, he weighed 26 stone and toured with the electric automatic vaudeville alongside billiards and palm readers. Crowds adored him, and John basked in the attention, even appearing in silent films and befriending Charlie Chaplin. But World War I changed everything. The laughter faded, and his weight dropped along with his fame. Later, he retrained as a watch repairer, living quietly in London. Tuberculosis claimed his life in 1944, at age 46. John's size made him famous, but it was his humor and kindness that left a mark. Behind the spectacle stood a man who learned to live beyond what the world wanted to see. Number 6. The Bohemian Twins. Rosa and Josefa Blazek were conjoined at the lower spine, a life that began and ended in shared struggle. From infancy, they were shown in traveling fairs, their childhood unfolding under staring crowds. At 13, doctors in Paris declared separation impossible. Rather than disappear, they adapted. The sisters studied music and performed violin duets, raising their act beyond exploitation. In 1893, they toured America during Chicago's World's Columbian Exposition. Years later, Rosa gave birth to a son named Franz. Whether he had a father or was a publicity fabrication is still completely unknown, but the mystery drew attention. By 1921, the twins returned to Chicago for another tour, living among the Czech community. When the influenza pandemic struck the next year, both died within minutes of each other. They began and ended intertwined, but what they left behind wasn't sorrow. It was endurance, artistry, and proof that even a life bound together could still create its own rhythm. Now let's head over to Number 5. John Rogan. John William Budd. Rogan was born on February 12, 1867 in Sumner County, Tennessee, to Anna and Jana Rogan. The second youngest of several children, John began growing unusually fast at age 13. By adulthood, he reached an astonishing height of 8 feet 9 inches and weighed 205 pounds, making him the second tallest man in recorded history and the tallest African-American ever known. Due to ankylosis, which is basically a severe joint condition, he couldn't stand or walk, spending much of his life seated in a custom-built wagon he moved with his hands. Despite his physical limitations, he was known locally for his gentle personality and artistic talent, often creating drawings and portraits. Rogan passed away on September 12, 1905, at age 38, from complications related to his condition. His immense stature was only surpassed years later by Robert Wadlow. He was not a circus freak, but a good salesman. Number 4. Kitty Smith. Unlike many sideshow performers born with rare conditions, Kitty Smith's story began with cruelty. In 1891, at just 9 years old, she refused to cook for her drunk father. In rage, he pressed her arms against a burning stove until they were destroyed. Both limbs were later amputated. Her father escaped prison for lack of evidence, and Kitty became a ward of the state. Dr. F. M. Gregg, inspired by her will, raised funds for her care and schooling. With sheer determination, she learned to write, paint, play piano, and embroider using only her feet. When donations faded, she turned to performance, appearing at Coney Island and touring with Barnum and Bailey. She sold her artwork and autobiography for income. In her memoir, Kitty rewrote the event, saying the fire was accidental, an act of forgiveness, not denial. That revision defined her, a woman who refused bitterness. Her greatest rebellion wasn't revenge, it was grace. While she was not as famous and fortunate as Ella, she was the one-of-a-kind. Number 3. Robert Earl Hughes. Robert, born in Bayless, became known as the heaviest man of his time. His immense size came from a severe thyroid disorder that accelerated his growth. At 6, he weighed nearly 200 kilograms. By 10, close to 380. At his peak, he reached 1,040 pounds, with a chest circumference exceeding 10 feet. Yet he remained remarkably mobile, walking with a cane and taking rest breaks when needed. Robert toured state fairs and carnivals across the Midwest, drawing crowds in awe of his size. He was even considered for the Ed Sullivan Show, though the appearance never materialized. On July 10, 1958, Hughes died of uremia caused by measles complications at just 32. His coffin, rumored to be a modified piano case, was enormous. His gravestone proudly marks his record weight. Through it all, Robert lived openly, facing judgment with humor and grace. He wasn't just a heavy sideshow act, he was the story good people still remember. Number 2. Willie Popeye Ingram. William Ingram, born around 1930 in Decatur, discovered at age 4 that he could push his eyes nearly an inch from their sockets. It wasn't painless, but it became his way of making a living. Joining Walter L. Wanis and Sons' traveling sideshow, he performed at carnivals and county fairs across the country. Audiences reacted with disbelief. Some laughed, some looked away. But Willie never stopped. His act earned him a place in Ripley's Believe It or Not and small features in tabloids, and he later appeared in the 1974 horror film The Freakmaker. Beneath the spectacle, though, was a man who turned what others mocked into his own stage. He didn't chase fame or fortune. He simply wanted to be seen. His eyes may have drawn the attention, but his will kept it. Willie lived in a body few could understand and made it unforgettable. Popeye wasn't just a nickname. It became the proof of his persistence. Number 1. The Skeleton Man. Isaac Sprague, born May 21, 1841, appeared healthy at birth but began losing weight rapidly at age 12. His parents searched for help across Massachusetts, but no doctor could explain his condition. By 18, Isaac weighed only 19 kilograms, standing at 1.67 meters tall. After losing both parents at 19, he struggled to survive, unable to do physical work due to his fragile frame. In 1865, he met P.T. Barnum, who offered him $80 a week, around $1,300 today, to appear in his show. Under the name The Living Skeleton, Isaac performed alongside bearded women, giants, and dwarves, quickly becoming a sideshow attraction. After surviving a fire that destroyed the museum in 1868, he married Tamar Moore and had 3 healthy children. He later rejoined Barnum for international tours across Europe and Canada. Despite earning well, gambling drained much of his money. Diagnosed with muscle atrophy in 1882, he agreed to sell his body for study after death, leaving a legacy of frail resilience. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for hanging with us. We'll see you soon in the next one.